Yo, what's up guys, it's Talon, and today we're going to be talking about how we got Challenger on mid lane playing only solo queue. You can see with a 64.6% win rate, 8.7 KDA, very good gold per minute to everything like that. And then here I am trying to find my champion stats as well. There are the champion stats, and so you can see here 71.7% or 71.1% win rate with Syndra. You can see about 1,000 gold per minute on the mages that we're playing, so really focusing on the mages this season. But we're going to get right into a game that really exemplifies kind of the strengths of this playstyle and how I was able to get Challenger on mid lane. So let's get right into it. Alright, so this is the game that got me to Challenger, and we're actually playing into Syndra's hardest matchup, which is Yasuo, and it also exemplifies really well the kind of things I'm typically trying to explain to people in terms of not over-rotating early game, not worrying about your teammates, playing kind of selfishly, and then how that often leads to really good situations. So starting off here, we're into a Yasuo. Yasuo, that matchup's the hardest. Main thing I'm looking at in this situation is just simply proc his shield, and then if he starts first ability I can poke him level 1, but once he has third ability, which is at level 2 if he's dumb, and at level 1 if he's smart, I have to just give him a lot of prio and mostly play to poke. But again, this is more of a general video, so we're more so focused on what it is that got me to Challenger as a whole. And so the first thing is very few champions, playing only a couple champions here, which is really just Syndra for the most part, Orianna or Corki when Syndra is banned or picked, or it's a really, really bad Syndra game. We can see even into hard matchups, I will still play the champion. And then as it relates to lane phase, I basically try to poke the enemy anytime they walk up for a last hit. So notice here, he walked up for a last hit, I use my first ability on him, and I poke him. Sometimes your jungler is going to randomly invade for no reason, like my Amumu here. I'm not worried about that. You can see that's not my concern. I am playing Syndra, I'm playing for my lane, I'm playing for my own lead. So again, I poke him when he walks up for last hits. You can see why Yasuo is such a hard matchup is because he can easily dodge with the third ability. So there, because of that, I wasn't able to really get as much value on him. But regardless, if he over roams like this, a lot of times he loses out on gold. So this Yasuo lost 2 minions because he decided to rotate and look for kills. Sometimes he's going to rotate, look for kills, he's going to get kills. Sometimes he's going to get nothing. But I'm always going to get gold. I'm always going to be farming, I'm going to be freezing, I'm going to be pushing when he ends up pushing and roaming. That way I can deny him gold, get plates, etc. But I'm basically only concerned with my lane. It's extremely rare as Syndra that I'm going to leave lane. And again, Challenger solo queue with over a 70% win rate while barely leaving lane in the first 6 minutes of the game. And there's a reason for that. That's because my champion is a champion which is purely focused on getting to 3, 4, 5 items, scaling, stacking, which again you stack really well just by punishing the enemy for last hits in lane. And again, when a Yasuo does a roam like this, I just push a plate, I play for gold, that's all I'm doing. I'm only concerned with gold, getting myself as much as possible and denying him gold. So even though the Yasuo ended up getting a kill there, he lost out on a bunch of gold on mid lane, dying to the turret. He lost out on gold earlier from his other roam, and so I'm not really down a bunch of gold or anything, even though he got a kill. I'm roughly even gold here at this point. Once I kill these minions, I think I might be down like 50 gold, and again, that's when he got a kill, and I wasn't quite able to get a plate out of that. Which is totally fine with me. Once again, it's a matchup that I'm playing to scale in. I'm not going to win the early game. He ends up getting a roam to work out onto a Scion, and I'm still perfectly fine. And you can see here, I end up sticking for an additional wave in order to, again, just make sure that he has to deal with the wave while I get to recall for free. So the simple fundamentals I follow in the early game is focus on my own lane. If the enemy rotate, push and punish them by making them lose minions, making them, either freeze on them if you can only freeze, or push and take plates if that's, possible. Play for my own gold, farm as much as possible, and then just carry games after that. So that's, again, just the early game approach. Sometimes it means that Yasuo roams like here. Sometimes it means that he doesn't. But regardless of what he does, I'm always going to be strong. So here, this is where we'll see, I think, a negative situation. I don't remember if it's right now, but again, look what I do. I just push, and I play to punish him and get a gold lead. That's all I'm caring about. Very, very simple. Punish last hits, push and punish them when they rotate. It's all that I need to do. But you can see here that my Bard ends up dying. And honestly, Bard shouldn't have died there, but it's really funny because now, since I didn't rotate, he's pinging me over and over. And so just a little, funny anecdote here is, so the Bard was pinging me all the time, and you're going to see I will carry this game. It's kind of obvious because it's my game to Challenger. And then we go and we look at his profile. His profile, 380 games, 48.7% win rate, stuck in Master 2. My profile, I'm 65% win rate, Challenger solo queue, right? So clearly this playstyle that I'm doing works to some extent, but it will piss your teammates off. And sometimes they'll ping you, and sometimes they will run you down. Sometimes they will lose on purpose because they get that mad. It happens, and I'm aware that it happens. but it's definitely a worthwhile trade-off to be able to carry all the games. Because again, usually you're able to carry the whiny people like this Bard, as we're going to see, and I'm very frequently able to carry. Regardless of these, you know, silly things they do. And as you can see here, we're able to get, I think we nearly get the first turret. I don't think we quite get it, if I remember correctly. You can see I'm very nearly able to get the first turret because they waste so much time on their gank, on their roam, and everything like that. And I denied them a bunch of minions. And once again, that's when their gank worked out. So like the Yasuo's gank actually worked. Imagine his gank didn't work. I'm going to be way stronger than him. So I'm always getting this same amount of gold, this same consistency, hitting my item spikes. Again, hitting Infinity Orb this early in the game is insanely good for me. And I'm 0, 0, and 0. And then if his ganks don't work out, it's just GG for him. He's down 1,000 plus gold. He can't play the game. So that's why it's a really nice thing overall, is just because of the consistency. There we do the little trick where we upgrade our first ability. So if you have your evolve, you use your first ability right away, then you evolve it, you get 2 really quick first abilities. So you can use 3 in a row. You use first ability, evolve, first ability, super fast. And that's how I get most of my solo kills. I don't solo kill in lane very often. I'm mostly playing for gold, mostly playing for stacks, playing for farm. The time where I do get solo kills is usually that timer, because a lot of people don't expect it. So that is really kind of the one solo kill angle that you have in lane. And if you don't get that solo kill, you're just going to go 0, 0, 0. Unless, you know, the enemy... It's a really easy roam for you when you take a roam and you get a kill, but that's not going to happen a lot. Again, most games I'm 0, 0, 0. Sometimes my team's winning, like here my team is winning, even though my bot lane got really angry. They're still winning, or my team is winning, you know, because Sion's doing well and whatever. But sometimes it means that my team's doing well, sometimes they're doing poorly, sometimes they're even. Regardless, I'm going to be strong every game. And that is, again, the gist of this strategy. So I'm really beating it home to you guys, really just spamming, saying the same thing over and over again. So you guys understand, this is the easiest of all the 5 strategies for my 5 accounts that I play. This is by far the easiest one to do. The only difficult part is the later team fighting and you know, spacing and that type of thing. So if you're bad in terms of team fights and spell tracking and you're not very patient, that's where you're going to struggle. And I made a video recently about that in my mid lane playlist, about kind of team fighting and fighting as a mage, and so that video will help you as well if you want to figure out more about how I actually fight on the mage once I get strong, which largely relates to my camera panning with the semi-lock camera setting, and then again just repositioning around walls with my, what you call it, my when my abilities are on cooldown, basically I reposition with walls, and then here I get as much damage as possible and I flash out. Yasuo very nearly killed me there because we did get hit by him, but we had the exhaust for him, so it wasn't the end of the world. We have to back off. Honestly, not the best outcome in this situation, but it's not super bad either. I'm still relatively strong gold wise, so I end up going for crown second here, which is very rare. Most of the time I don't go crown second. If you want to know my full build, you can look at it in the rank 1 Syndra guide. But for this game, we do go crown second just because of how aggressive they are. I know that all I really got to worry about is not dying, scaling up to my death cap, and I'm going to be pretty happy. So once again, all we do here is we just look around the map for some side lane gold wherever we can find it. So again, the early game we've described to you guys very deeply. Now when it comes to the mid game, the 6 minute to 11 minute mark, all I'm doing is I'm using my really good wave clear combo, which is EQWQ. I'm using that to one-shot a wave and then go somewhere else and get more gold. So I one-shot the wave in mid like that. Now I go here. I'm trying to find gold somewhere else. Here I'm just trying to deny the herald, but still gives me gold as well. Wherever I can get gold. So now there's obviously gold on the top side. So once again, I just use my champion's wave clear in order to get that gold as fast as possible. And then since there's another wave here, rather than going back to mid, I make sure I stay and get this entire wave as well before going somewhere else. And so then I get that wave, I recall, get my item. Where do I go now? Wherever there's another wave. Once again, the wave clear combo. Sometimes you can first ability, third ability, second ability, first ability for the combo as well. Again, rank 1 Syndra guide describes these combos. I know I'm saying them fast. That's because I've already made videos on them, so I don't need to bore the people who do watch my content more frequently. But once again, what do we do now? We go to this side lane, we catch this wave, and then look, because I see on my minimap that my next wave is already around my tier 3 turret. That means the enemy wave is going to be at their tier 3, which means, or tier 1 turret rather, which means I can one-shot the wave again. Now we've one-shot the wave. Where do we go? We go mid, because that's the next place I can get gold. I go mid wave, I one-shot the mid wave there, then I go back somewhere else looking for gold. In this case, we see the enemy are kind of rotated, so we're looking for a fight. Here we end up one-shotting the Yasuo. So it's a very simple combo. It's literally, you saw me go, like the overall sequence here. And again, I'm going to go back because this is something I want you guys to understand, this entire sequence of events that occurs. And this is sequence of events is basically mid lane. I push this mid lane here. I'm skipping around. Then I go top side, push this top lane, push another top wave, recall, go bot lane, push bot wave, push another bot wave. Okay, bot waves are pushed. Now I go mid, push mid wave. Okay, now I finally rotate for a fight because I've pushed like 5 different waves on 3 different parts of the map within 2 minutes, maybe something like that. I don't need to skip around, but it's like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I do all of that, and then we end up getting the kill here. So again, this is really the gist of this playstyle, is that you're everywhere that there is gold. It doesn't matter if there's fights. Sometimes there's conveniently a fight, and then you take it. And you see I'm 1-0-1. There's been 24 kills in the game. I've only participated in 2 of them. And the reason for that, again, is not because I'm playing poorly. It's because I understand my champion strengths and what I want. And then now that I'm starting to reach my strengths a bit, I'm on 2 items. I'm pretty strong overall. I'm starting to be able to find some kills from these rotations. So when you don't have a million waves to play over, then you can start every once in a while getting some of these rotations to be valuable in fights, getting your stacks up, because you do get to stack extra when you fight some of these fights. So if you push out a mid wave and you see a good fight, you take it. You're not never fighting. It's just you're not fighting for no reason. So sometimes I go 0-0-0 for 15 minutes. Sometimes I go 0-0-0 for 3 minutes, and then fighting starts. But at the end of the day, again, it just matters that I push my wave before I do something. So what do? Now, since I pushed the mid wave, I recall to spend my gold. I go back to mid, and then this is where the sequence changes a bit. Now that we're at the 11-minute mark, the Baron spawns, and here we see a fight angle, so I go for the fight again. But at the 11-minute mark, the Baron spawns, and now it's more my concern to end up being able to zone the enemy off the Baron. So I'm generally going to spend most of my time on the Baron side of the map. Now here we saw obviously an easy triple kill angle. We're going to take it, or a double kill angle. But most of the time I'm going to spend my time on the top side now, or wherever the Baron is, and controlling that. Because now this is around when you're going to hit your death cap. Once you hit your death cap, now it's all about controlling the waves around Baron. So I push out the top lane wave, and then I go for zoning on the objective, and I'm pretty much just trying to stop the enemy from doing anything. Again, here we end up one-shotting the Kha'Zix, and now Kha'Zix can't steal, so my team can get a free Baron. And so, again, first 6 minutes of the game, punish enemy last hits. If the enemy roam, then you just push the wave and you deny them gold, or you freeze on them, you deny them gold, whatever way you can get the most amount of gold. Then from 6 minutes to 11 minutes, all I'm doing is I'm going all around the map. Again, that sequence you saw where it's push mid wave. Okay, mid wave's gone, and there's no mid wave coming soon. Go top, get the top wave. Okay, there's one more top wave coming, get that wave. Okay, recall, spend my gold. Go to the next wave. Where's the next wave? In that case, it was bot lane. I go bot. Okay, there's one more bot wave. Go bot. Now bot's dead. Go mid, and it's just over and over. And then the 11-minute mark, now we control the Baron side. That's what we do here. And now, okay, we've got the Baron. Now we go and one-shot people under turret as we're sieging, and nothing too complicated there. I've farmed so much that I can one-shot everyone, and all of a sudden I'm able to hard carry fights, and you're going to see my kills are just going to shoot up and up and up throughout this last, 7 or 8 minutes of the game, or however long it ends up being. Again, 5-0-2 at 13 minutes. We'll see what we end, right? Just within this time frame. And again, of course, this game I had all right teammates, like they weren't dying a bunch or anything. Some games are a lot harder. You have more dead teammates, you have more people inting, and in those cases, sure, sometimes you are going to still lose, because sometimes you do all this farming and whatever, and then your teammates int, and like that's reality, right? You're not going to carry every game. I'm 71% win rate. I'm not 100% win rate. Some games are just unwinnable. But here we end up getting the one shot on the Yasuo as well, killing him. Following up on our teammates, nothing too complicated. Sitting on a bunch of gold, so we want to recall soon, but since 3 of them are dead, we do try to get as much out of the those deaths as possible, but definitely want to look for a recall soon because of how much gold I'm sitting on. So I end up getting the blue buff and then recalling. And now we're on through 4.5 items. So at this point, again, anyone walks up to me, I pretty much just one-shot them. So at this point in the game, we've gotten the Baron. There's no Baron up. I'm just grouping mid. I no longer need all this gold. Like, I already am super farmed. So now I'm looking for one-shots on people. I'm actually looking to catch them out. And that's what we do. We end up forcing the flash. We end up getting the Xayah one-shotted. The Kha'Zix goes forward for no reason. He gets one shot as well. And so now we actually value the fighting. And you see the timers that I value fighting are when I'm actually hitting my power spikes, when I'm strong, when I'm on 3, 4, 5 items, higher relative to the enemy. And now I'm basically hitting full build. Like I'm about to hit full build and we are 15 minutes in the game. So like a 15-minute full build game. And again, this is obviously not every game I'm 15-minute full build, but there are a relatively substantial amount of games that I do hit full build 15, 16 minutes. Just because of this farming strategy. This is like a 1,200 plus gold per minute game. And I had, yesterday, I think I played 10 or 11 games. I had 2 1,200 plus gold per minute games. And so it's not something that like is only every once in a while. It's not every game, but it does definitely happen due to how much we're employing the strategy of farming. And now that I'm full build, of course, all that matters is fighting at this point. So anytime I see a fight around an objective, anytime I can rotate somewhere, I'm now going to rotate, and I'm going to be super, super concerned with fighting. So it's just different play style at different points of the game, and we kind of use that. Now again, we're controlling the Baron. Here we just end up finding a one-shot angle, so we end up one-shotting the Kayle. Once again, it's very fun too. Once you do get farmed up to this point, you just get to one-shot everyone, and anyone who walks in your way is, yeah, again, like they just take an absurd amount of damage. It's completely unreasonable how much damage my champion does at this point. You can see we one-shot the Yasuo as well. And then my ult's coming up, so I'm looking for something, seeing if I can one-shot anyone, seeing if Kha'Zix walks up to try to steal. We're just trying to make sure we zone, and we do indeed zone. He ends up, once again, disappearing. Oh, actually, he stasis. I remember now. I was like, he didn't disappear. He stasis, so he didn't die. That freaking cockroach. But either way, now we just go and push out the Baron, push out the side lane waves, get ready for that. And then again, sometimes your teammates get caught out and they die and whatever. Your life is all that really matters when you're this fed. So you can see here, I'm positioning quite far back. I'm not really overly concerned with the Ezreal dying, especially if Xayah flashes and ults and everything. As long as I'm safe, we're going to win the game. It's that simple. Like, I could pretty much wave clear and stall games out as long as possible, as long as my teammates don't, like, completely run it down, which happens sometimes. But for the most part, we're in a pretty good spot. You can see the one-shot on Yasuo again. Everyone's just getting one-shot by me at this point. It's really unfair. Like, low-key, everyone just completely disappears. I think I might kind of int here, though. I don't remember, but yeah, because the Xayah ends up getting Kayle ulted. I did not think about that. And so then we do end up dying, and I don't think my team ends here. So it gets a little scary, but obviously we got a couple inhibs. Well, it's not the end of the world. My teammates just kind of reset. So now we're stalling. We're playing around Elder. And now I just got to make sure I can find some one-shots around Elder, and we're mostly going to be fine. And luckily for me, I'm insanely fed, so I'm able to do that. We exhaust the Kha'Zix. I end up proto-belting into my teammates so that the Kha'Zix doesn't get the isolated damage. And then Kha'Zix is really low and nearly dies. So it was actually a little scarier here, frankly, than we'd like it to be. So I end up just being patient. I'm like, okay, let me reset. I'm just going to recall, get my gold back. Again, if I'm alive, we win. So even if my teammates end up dying in that fight there, as long as I'm able to get there and clean up at the end, we're probably going to be happy. Obviously, in this situation, my teammates are still, doing fine enough. So I did make a definitely made a mistake there, and we're lucky that it didn't cost us. Sometimes you make the dumb mistakes, but either way, we're able to one-shot the Kayle there. And then at this point, we should probably be able to end, though I don't remember exactly what happens, but I'm going to assume we end because, I won this game, I remember, so we probably end or something like that. Or maybe we end up going Baron if the enemy are able to stall. I don't... No, I get the double E. Yeah, right? This E was funny. We have to go back. We have to watch this again. I get 2 kills with the same third ability, which I think is hilarious. So look here, we got a bunch of balls on the ground, and we end up just exploding them both. I thought that was pretty funny. And then we win the game, and we get Challenger. So yeah, I mostly just wanted to show you guys this. In general, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.